What's going on, everyone? So there has been a ton of talk about Walker Kessler to the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, obviously, nothing has happened yet. Lakers are also on a road trip, so my guess is if anything does happen, it won't be until they return from the road trip. Just something to kind of keep in mind. However, chances are it probably will be a while before a Walker Kessler trade gets done, if it ever gets done. Utah, yes, they're the worst team in the league, but they're not playing for anything. They're in no rush to trade Walker Kessler. Their hope is that team ends up dealing with an injury or something crazy happens and they come rushing to Utah to go, hey, we'll give you whatever you want. Here, take it all. Right? And that is probably going to lead to the Lakers having to wait a while. Obviously, Walker Kessler, I think, would be brilliant for the Lakers. Talking about a guy that is young enough to not only help right now, but be a key piece for the next 10 plus years as your starting center. He's shown a little bit of everything. His ability to score and operate around the rim, make plays out of the post, even stretch the floor a little bit. Not a guy that I want taking 5 threes a game, but it's nice to see that he's been working on it and could potentially be a bit of a floor spacer at some point. And he's also one of the best rim protectors in the entire NBA, which would be great. Alongside Anthony Davis, good luck scoring around the rim. But even beyond that, it's like when Anthony Davis goes to the bench, now it's not just layup lines to the basket, teams being aggressive to the basket. And also the nights that, Anthony Davis gets the night off, we don't lose that rim pressure or rim protection that we have seen as recent as last year, right? Like the Houston game and the Spurs game and stuff, where it just literally was just a layup line to the basket. Walker Kessler, I think, makes a ton of sense. And the problem is, I don't see a scenario where it's just Walker Kessler for like Jalen Hood-Schifino. Like, because you could do a clean, even swap. Right? And the Lakers just freed up Jalen Hood-Schifino to where he is going to be a free agent in the offseason. Right? So you could just do a clean trade, 1-for-1, and then also Lakers would add in picks or whatever else is needed in order to get the trade done. But more likely than not, my guess is that the Lakers trade probably includes like at D'Angelo Russell. Lakers were trying to trade D'Angelo Russell. There were reports about D'Angelo Russell being offered, but it doesn't make sense unless the Lakers are getting another player in return. The Lakers are getting another piece in return. And the conversation has been Collin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson, right? Jordan Clarkson is still, or both guys still have another year. Jordan Clarkson is $14 million, and then a Collin Sexton is 18, basically close to D'Lo. Like, you can just clean swap a Collin Sexton for a D'Lo, and then a Jalen Hood-Schifino for Walker Kessler. Boom, clean 2-for-2 swap. Lakers don't have to unload anybody. Maybe they can unload a Cam Reddish or something in the deal too to kind of just throw them a second or something, just to kind of get it all done at once. But nonetheless, chances are it's probably going to be more than just Kessler for Jalen Hood-Schifino. Question is, who would it be? Right? Now, Jordan Clarkson, you could do Walker Kessler and Jordan Clarkson just clean for D'Angelo Russell. Problem with the Lakers is the Lakers would have to include somebody else because they'd have to waive a guy. So you're looking at the Lakers probably throwing in like a Cam Reddish or something just to clean 2-for-2 spot. And then maybe Utah waives Reddish or just kind of keeps him and rides through the season and just be patient. Maybe they trade D'Angelo Russell at some point. Whatever they end up doing, we will see. But you can do Clarkson, Walker Kessler straight up for D'Angelo Russell if you wanted to. Again, if you added Collin Sexton in, well then now it has to be a 2-for-2 swap, right? So it'd have to be Kessler and Sexton for D'Lo and Jalen Hood-Schifino. I am not a fan of Jordan Clarkson. I know he's a former Laker. I know people like Jordan Clarkson. I see a lot of people that want Jordan Clarkson. My problem with Jordan Clarkson is he is incredibly inefficient. I mean, bad inefficient. 32 years old, so he's still not old, and he's bigger than Collin Sexton, right? But you look at a guy like Collin Sexton. Collin Sexton's just like, he's 7 years younger. I think he's 30, he's 35? Or, 25? Collin Sexton's 25. And then, like I said, you have Jordan Clarkson, who's 32. So the age difference is another big thing. But you look at Jordan Clarkson's stats. This is a guy who, this season, shooting 19% from three. And you might be thinking, right, Tyler, it's early in the season. Okay, well, let's look at last season. Last season, the entire season, he shot 29.4% from three. It's a guy that is a career 33.4%. We're already on, Gabe Vincent because of his poor shooting and how bad he looks, right? This is a guy that is shooting 39% from the floor. He's not even shooting 40%. He, for his career, is 43.7%. But Tyler, again, it's only been, 6 games or whatever Utah's played, right? Okay, well, last year, he shot, again, for the full year, 41.3%. So he is around 40% field goal percent guy and a average between 2 years, 25% 3-point percent guy. It's not great. I mean, even his free throw shooting's only at 70%, and this guy's a career 83%. Everything's down. Rebounding, 4 rebounds, 3.4 assists. Defense, he's never been known as a defensive guy. He's giving you 13 points per game. I get the idea of Jordan Clarkson off the bench. In the thought process is like, okay, well, with Jordan Clarkson, now you kind of upgrade the bench scoring and whatnot. I still am not a big fan of Jordan Clarkson. I would much rather go after Collin Sexton. All right. Collin Sexton has been relegated to the bench, which he hasn't complained. He doesn't cry, complain, nothing. Right? He's only playing 23 minutes a game. Right? So would he be willing to come off the bench for the Lakers? Probably. Right? If he's willing to come off the bench for a bad Utah team that can't win a game, right? Then he'd probably be willing to come off the bench for a Laker team. And now let's look at him. Okay, now through the same amount of games this season, he's shooting 46% from the field on 10 attempts rather than 11 attempts. He's averaging 14.2 points. So he's taking less attempts and averaging a full point more. 3-point shooting has not been great for him this season. He is shooting 20% from three. However, for his career, he is 38%. And if you look at a full season last year, he shot 39.4%. Let's look at the season before that. He shot 39.3%. So, again, he's a guy that more likely than not is going to balance out. Where a guy like Jordan Clarkson, his best, he's had seasons where he shot like 37%, but his average is 32, 33%, where Sexton's average is 38% from three. He also gives you the same level of athleticism. Now, he's not as big, he's not as tall. Collin Sexton's, 6'1", 6'2", right? He's not like this big guy. I think he's listed at 6'3", but he's not, it's one of those, or at least he doesn't look it, right? But he does have a good wingspan. He does have like a 6'6", 6'7" wingspan. So he's longer than his actual height, which is good. Goes a long way for defensive purposes, although he hasn't been a great lockdown defensive guy. But he's a guy that can go get you. Like, you look at last season, right? Like, let's see a full season sample size. He shot 48.7% on 13.3 attempts per game. He shot 39.4% from three-point range on 4.2 attempts per game. 53% from two-point range, had an EFG of 50, be nice, 55%, because it was 54.9 if you want to be exact. Shot 86% from the foul line on 4.7 attempts. He averaged 3 rebounds, 5 assists, round up, 1 full steal, half a block, 2.1 turnovers, and 18.7 points per game. This season, again, through 5 games, is averaging 14.2 points per game. He's taking 3.5 less attempts, so he's still kind of, if you adjust the attempts, he'd still be 17-point-a-game guy. Right, he's shooting 52.5% from two-point range, has an EFG of 48%. It's just the thing that's really hurting him right now is his poor three-point shooting. But he's only taking 2 attempts per game. He'll be taking more than that with the Lakers. Right? Like, he's taking half of what he's averaged which is around 4.5. So he's literally taking half the attempts. So could that just be a thing where he's just not getting the reps needed to kind of get into the flow, get into a rhythm? That could be a possibility. But again, he's a guy that is so willing to come off the bench. There might be value in that. See, the beauty of being able to trade for like a Walker Kessler or even a Collin Sexton. Say you do a D'Lo and Jalen Uchifino for Sexton and Kessler, right? Well, you still have Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, and Max Christie, if you needed to, all salary that you could trade. Just get you another 50 plus million if you wanted to go make some other moves. So what you could do is you could still go get a Cam Johnson. You get a Cam Johnson and Bruce Brown still if you wanted to, and have Collin Sexton come off the bench and basically be your sixth man off the bench and give you 14, 15 points a game. My point is that Collin Sexton is giving you basically the same point total, actually, again, a point more than Jordan Clarkson. However, he's shooting at 10% better efficiency across the board outside of the 3-point range, right? 3-point range, they're both shooting like 20%. So that's not good. But just overall, right, he's a guy that's just shooting better. And he gives you the rim pressure and he gives you the athleticism. And when he's locked in and engaged on the defensive side, he can still handle some business. I would prefer, if you have to get Collin Sexton, get Collin Sexton. Right? Again, Utah's doesn't seem super high on Collin Sexton. I don't think that they're going to be like, oh, you have to, take. If Utah was like, you have to take Jordan Clarkson, otherwise you can't get Walker Kessler, right? If it's one of those where it's like, no, we want you to take Jordan Clarkson, I think they would do it. However, it makes sense for them to get rid of Collin Sexton because he makes more money, right? His contract is like $4 million more. So to me, that would be my argument is like, we're giving you two expiring guys. You're getting off salary, right? You look at a guy like Jordan Clarkson, he's making $14 million this year and 14.2, almost 14.3 next season. So it's like, okay, well, Jordan Clarkson is making the fewest between Sexton and Jordan Clarkson, right? Where Collin Sexton, he's averaging 18.3 this year, and then he jumps up to 19.1. Again, D'Lo's average is making 18.6. So you're talking about, again, like we save you $4 million by taking Sexton over Clarkson, which, oh, by the way, you have a guy in Lauri Markkanen that is going to make a max contract going forward. So do you really want that to happen, right? Like, that would kind of be my argument. That would kind of be my justification. That'd kind of be like the way that I present it to Utah of like, hey, like we're doing you a favor type thing. But really, I think getting a Collin Sexton would just be the better route, better option. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you prefer Collin Sexton? Do you prefer Jordan Clarkson? I like Collin Sexton because he's willing to come off the bench, or at least he seems open to it. He's not crying. He's not complaining. You haven't heard any noise about, oh, man, I don't want to be. Like, he's just like, hey, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to do. Right? And so if he's willing to do that for the Lakers, that could be huge. Because, like I said, you could still go get like a Bruce Brown. You could still go get a Cam Johnson or something and then have Collin Sexton be that sixth guy off the bench. But anyway, again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. If you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.